Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about specifically Brozovic and just talk about why Xavi Hernandez does want this player. And let's get straight to it because the latest news regarding Brozovic is this player has no desire to leave Inter Milan as of right now. Now let's remember, I know that it does seem like it's the end of this transfer saga, that Barcelona is not going to be having Brozovic no more. But remember, there was a report that did surface about 2 or 3 days ago that stated this: Inter and Barcelona could advance in the Kessie and Brozovic swap deal after the Italian Super Cup final, which will be played on Wednesday, which will be happening in a couple of hours. Inter Milan and AC Milan are going to be playing, so of course you're not going to be seeing the agents or like the club try to bother Brozovic whether he wants to move to Barcelona, yes or no, or like just assess his future, especially before a Super Cup final when you're facing AC Milan. That is their biggest rivals. So this is the reason why it does seem a little flat right now, but a lot of things could change by the time we do hit Thursday or maybe even Friday. And we also do have Xavi Hernandez, who has given the green light for the move of Brozovic, and he does feel the Croatian can be an important player for the short term and the medium term. This is according to Ferran Martinez. And so the only thing that really is missing, assuming that Brozovic wants to come to Barcelona, it is going to be Kessie and him saying, yes, I want to go to Inter Milan, which makes no sense, right? Because Kessie did come from AC Milan, so why would he join Inter Milan? Who knows what Kessie will be doing in 3 to 4 days? Anything could happen. And the latest regarding Kessie for now, again, for now, before the final, is that Kessie said that he wants to fight for a place in the Barcelona starting 11, and I have a lot of respect for that because right now this Barcelona team is on a high, right? On a special high. The level has greatly improved, and Kessie is gonna have to match that type of level, especially when you know that you have Pedri and Xavi performing at their very best. So now that we do have that out the way, now let's talk about why Xavi Hernandez wants Brozovic in this squad, and we're going to be comparing Brozovic to Busquets and also Kessie to see what Brozovic does cover that Kessie and Busquets cannot do at the moment. So we are going to be splitting this into 3 different sections. We're going to be talking about what they bring defensively, then talk about what they can bring offensively, and then talk about their key passes. How great are they in terms of creating? So let's talk about the defensive aspect of these 3 players. And just to give you guys context, remember, Kessie is a central midfielder in FC Barcelona. These stats that we see here, it is only regarding this specific season and what they have done in the past 4 to 5 months. So we can see here on the second line, Brozovic being better than Busquets and Kessie in terms of successful defensive actions per 90, which is very important for a central defensive midfielder. He is slightly better than Busquets and much better than Kessie. And again, remember, let's have the context here. Kessie has been playing as a central midfielder. Then we look at the defensive duels per 90. They're very the same, right? When it comes to Brozovic and Busquets, very same numbers. And then you have Kessie, who is much lower than both of them. And then if we go to the bottom or like in the middle section, we can see the slide tackles per 90. Brozovic is way better than Kessie in terms of slide tackles per 90 and a little bit more better than Sergio Busquets. And then as we go lower on this graph, we can see that Brozovic is also better when it comes to shots blocked per 90. So he's really good in always getting in the way from the opposition, who has a total of 0.63 shots blocked per 90. And then you have Sergio Busquets, who is 0.16, and then Kessie at 0.11. So you can see that Brozovic overall is much greater when it comes to defending. And he has also shown this greatly during the World Cup with Croatia. He had a masterclass performance against Brazil. I remember he had to go up against like Neymar and all of these other Brazilian players, and they could not get through, mainly because Brozovic was playing well, Guardiola was also playing well. So it would be wonderful to have this player at FC Barcelona, and you can just see from far away that Xavi Hernandez would most likely use Brozovic and Frenkie de Jong as that new double pivot that we do see currently with Sergio Busquets and Frenkie de Jong. Having Brozovic there would allow Frenkie to roam much higher and to create without any real consequences, mainly because just imagine Frenkie going up knowing that he has Christensen, Koundé, and Brozovic right behind him. So it would be a great reinforcement. And now let's move on towards the what they could bring offensively. Now again, I want to bring this up. Kessie has been playing as a central midfielder, Brozovic and Busquets has been playing much deeper. So you can see that already Kessie is superior when it comes to expected goals per 90, much more superior. Head goals, he has more. Of course, you can see head goals per 90, Kessie is superior because he has more head goals. And it's very interesting to see that also Brozovic has more shots than Kessie, even though Kessie has been playing much higher. Brozovic has a total of 17, Kessie has 11. But then if we look at the shots per 90, Kessie is much higher than Brozovic, and Brozovic has 0.97, and then we have Sergio Busquets at 0.35. And then as we go lower through these assists and assists per 90, Kessie of course has more assists than Brozovic, and also the same with Sergio Busquets. And so if you really think about it, there's nothing that Brozovic is better on when it comes to like the offense and what he could bring in the final third. Like literally nothing. Kessie and Sergio Busquets give so much more. And it's also crazy to see that Sergio Busquets is better than Brozovic in terms of offensive duels. So going back to that question, why does Xavi want this player? Well, that is because Barcelona need a central defensive midfielder. Xavi's basically saying this. Like, again, we can clearly see that Kessie can bring so much more offensively than Brozovic, but what Xavi wants is to trade a central midfielder for a central defensive midfielder, because Xavi knows that he's set on the central midfield position. He has Pedri, Gavi, Frankie, Pablo Torre. You better bet that Barcelona's going to want to bring another central midfielder by the time we do head towards the summer. So what we really do need, and what Xavi is showing, is that he's willing to let go of a central midfielder to reinforce a position that he does need to reinforce, which is the central defensive midfield position, and he could do that with Brozovic. And then when we look at the key passes, Sergio Busquets and Brozovic are almost in the exact same type of number when it comes to second assist per 90, third assist per 90, smart passes per 90, the exact same thing. Kessie is superior than these two players and nothing more, right? Everything is basically the same. And that is the conclusion, right? Kessie is better offensively compared to Busquets and Brozovic. Brozovic is better at defending and blocking. Busquets is basically like a mix of what Brozovic is really good at and what Frankie is really good at. And I think that Xavi is basically saying, look, if I can't find that replica of Busquets, a Busquets that can bring the best of both worlds, like what Brozovic brings and what Frankie brings, let's see if I can split this into two players. Maybe I can find two players that can bring what Busquets brings as a package, right, in one. And so when you split what Busquets has offensively and defensively, you get Brozovic and Frankie. You don't get Kessie and Frankie, if that makes any sense. Because look, Frankie brings what Kessie can bring, but way better. Frankie is just so much better in the final third, right? He's so much more dynamic. And so the only thing that Xavi knows that he needs in the midfield is someone much more defensive. And defensively, Brozovic would be a much higher upgrade compared to Sergio Busquets, which is why I do believe Xavi Hernandez is giving this the green light. So let's see how all of this does play out. I would love to have this player at FC Barcelona, but again, everything is very 50-50 right now. We have no idea what's going to be happening after the final is over. At the moment, the only thing that you're going to be hearing before the final is that Brozovic is only thinking about Inter Milan, and that's basically it, you know, like the usual. But we'll see. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.